Oh, yeah. And now for number 7, the reasons why your clients want to quit. Number 7 is they don't know when to say yes. All right. That is vague. I get it. But listen, don't go anywhere. I'm going to take it deeper for you. Your clients want to quit because they don't know how to embrace the right opportunities. And for that reason, they kind of wear themselves out. Let me break it down. So, you know how yesterday I was talking about um, number 6 was opposing goals, right? So, this kind of ties into those opposing goals. And if you have opposing goals, then you're going to see some things as opportunities that are really not because they're going towards the opposite goal. So, you've got to help your clients differentiate between those opportunities. So let's break this down even more. So, opportunity recognition. There has to be some sort of checklist or um, just way of knowing this is how we evaluate, or like in therapy, we call it rule out. The medical field, period, we call it rule out. There has to be some sort of rule out process, and you can mirror, you can hold this up to the mirror and say, hey, is this reflecting back to me what I want, or is this going to help me get to my goal? Yes or no. And that's how you determine. But if you've been saying yes, 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 yes to all the things and keeping up appearances, then so let's say, for example, your client wants has a specific target market, right? And this might apply to you too. You have a specific target market. And instead of going to speak at their specific target market, they go and speak somewhere just because they just can't say no. So they say yes. And this might feel good in the moment when they say yes, but I guarantee you, when it's time to actually do the thing, they're going to be like, I don't want to go. And they wonder why they don't want to go. They're like, well, I love speaking. I love speaking, or I love acting, or I love, playing this particular sport. They're going to say that in their heads, and they're not going to understand why they don't want to go. Is because it's not completely aligned with their actual goal. And so they're going to want to quit. Now, sometimes that's just that one quit that one opportunity. And then sometimes if they've done that too many times, they're just going to want to quit altogether because they're like, damn it all to hell, this is not going the way I wanted it to. It's too hard and it's too much pressure and I don't like it. And so for that reason, you'll need to help them find ways to checklist or rule out what are the right opportunities. And they may also not know how to balance risk and reward. Now, this is big for my financial professionals in talking to your clients because your clients often don't know how to evaluate risk and reward. And the way that you explain that to them is sometimes a little too jargony. So you're like standard deviation and Monte Carlo, like what a Monte Carlo, what a standard deviation. I don't know what you're talking about. Will I be able to save invest? What am I going to win? Right? I don't know because I can't tell about what you just presented to me. So don't give them that jargony version. They need a very clear version that attaches to their why, that attaches to their goal, that helps them see how this is going to get them where they're going, not so much to show that you're very smart and you have thought it through. You have to help them feel it, not think it. So, because a lot of these reasons to quit are very emotional, not logical. So, when you're coming to your clients with this very logical conversation and they're all in their feelings and emotions, those conversations are not aligned. So, they don't hear you. You're going to have to go to the emotional side. And this risk and reward conversation has to help them. You have to help them see it from a more why centered way, not a jargon way. So make sure they know they have the support they need to balance that risk and reward. And what I mean is that there's somebody on their side that's going to be like, hey, let me point out some things. This risk is way too high. Like maybe you have the client who wants to go back to the hood and hang out with their friends because they want to keep it real. And the risk, like Tupac said, I can't go back there because they'll rob me. And why? And they should, right? Because I now have more than they have. And I'm in the wrong place. I don't belong here anymore. And maybe you are too young to have known that interview with Tupac, but it was on MTV, and never mind, just Google it. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that you have to be able to help them see where they're taking on too much risk and it's unnecessary. And not from a logical standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint. How is this going to help you reach your goal? And they want to be nice, right? They want to be nice. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that niceness tomorrow. And I talked a little bit about it yesterday. Tomorrow, I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go hard in the paint because you guys need to know that nice is not winning. And tomorrow when we talk, I'm going to really make sure you understand that. And I'm going to make sure that you have enough power to pass that on to your clients because a lot of you are being too nice. But before I go there, let's just finish talking about knowing when to say yes to opportunities, which opportunities to embrace. Here's this last thing. If you say yes, 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 yes all the time and overcommit, what you're doing is saying no to something that you don't even know is coming. And it can be so good, it's so right, but you've already committed your time and energy. So what are you going to do? You're going to quit that thing and say yes to the other thing. Trust me, I've done it. I've done it. I'll tell you a little story. I just heard about podcasts and I had had my podcast for about a year. I should say I just heard about this podcast festival conference and I had had my podcast for about a year. One of the few Black women doing podcasts. And this was a long time ago, obviously, because now everybody has a podcast, but I'm doing this podcast. And then I agreed to be a speaker at this podcast conference for free. Why? Because it's new. I'm excited about it. I get to speak to people. I really didn't know exactly what I was going to say to them, but I did want to tell them that, I have a podcast. I've had it for a year. You need to be consistent. You don't have to know what you're doing. You can hire the right people. Just tell them what it meant to have a podcast, how you do it, and share that information. Now, that wasn't my message. That wasn't what I was sharing with the world. Of course, I talk about money. I talk about mental health and the connection between mental health and physical health and for that reason, because it wasn't aligned completely, when I got an opportunity, I got an even bigger opportunity. It was an opportunity to go to the Cayman Islands, which at that time was going to be the first speaking engagement that I did internationally. Spend a week in the Cayman Islands, get paid for it, speak about finance, and hit a milestone in my career. It was so easy to understand that this was the thing that I was supposed to do. So I had to cancel on the other thing. Now, did I burn some bridges? Probably. But it was just no way I was going to stick to that. And I should have said no to that in the beginning. First of all, it was free. I don't do free speaking engagements anymore, not even back then, because I've been speaking since I was 15 years old. I don't have to do free speaking engagements unless I really want to, unless you're sending me to the Cayman Islands, right? So, but that one was paid. And it was 5 days. And I was getting paid for every day. And it was so lucrative. And it was everything I wanted. I get to speak on my subject to a group of people that I feel powerful in front of. And yeah, I had to say no. And so I knew how to embrace the right opportunity, but I didn't at first. I didn't embrace the right opportunity first. And if I had the right support in my life, it probably would have told me, don't take on that. That's not in your lane. So I wouldn't have had to burn that bridge. I would have been able to say yes to the other thing, which I still say yes to, but I say yes with some consequences. See what I'm saying? But you overcommit. And this might be true for you, but also for your clients. They overcommit. They want to keep up appearances and they wear themselves out. So you get totally burned out. And when you get burned out, you want to quit. Not because you don't love what you do, but because you're confused. You're just tired and you're missing the mark. And maybe you're overcommitting because you have this fear of missing out. Maybe you're overcommitting because you think you can be all things to all people, which we're going to talk about tomorrow some more. Think you can be all things to all people. But let me tell you, you cannot. You are not. It's just not possible. Okay. So get it out of your head. And you should be, what I'm saying to you, just say to your client. Okay. So it sounds like I'm fussing at you, but I'm really fussing at your client. But I am kind of fussing at you. But anyway, you can't be all things to all people. So if you're one of those people who was like, oh, I do it all. I do it all things. I'm for everybody. No, you're not. You're not. Even if you're an athlete that plays on the grand scheme of, on ABC or wherever the NBA plays, you still have a target market. There's still somebody that you work for. And I mean, when I say work for, I mean your tribe, your people. And maybe there's a charity that means so much to you. That charity that means so much to you, if you give to that charity or if you give to another charity, then you can't give to that charity. If you're spending your time helping people that are not the charity you love, you're not going to have anything left to give to the charity. So hold a mirror up and look at that opportunity and see if it reflects back to you your goals. Because if it doesn't, then it's not for you. And it's actually not an opportunity. It's not an opportunity at all. It might look like an opportunity at first glance, but in all honesty, it's not. So, do you know what to do now? You can talk to your clients from an emotional, not a logical, let go of all that jargon, have them have a checklist, put a checklist together. Together, you guys can do this. You support them in knowing what opportunities are the best ones for them so they can weigh that risk and reward. Say, this is it. Yes, to the right opportunities and grow and grow and grow and grow and never want to quit. Always want to keep going. Got it? Good. I am so glad we had this conversation. I told you that this was going to be a good one. But tomorrow, people, whew, you're going to be like, oh my God, Kanae, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to be like, you're welcome. This is my job. It's nothing. So I dropped a little link. If you're watching this live, go into the chat, the comments. I dropped a little link if you want some free therapy. If you're watching this recording, it's in the description. Depends on where you're watching it. The description might be there. Or if you're watching it somewhere else, it could be there. Anyway, go into the description, click on that link if you want some free therapy. And if you'd like to hire me to be a speaker at your next event or on your podcast, click that link. It's another link in there. Whichever one is the one for you, click it. And then you'll know what to do next because I'll give you directions. Just follow my directions. Anyway, the direction I really want you to follow today is to come back tomorrow. There's 8, 9, and 10. Okay, 3 more videos. I might throw in a bonus because you know me. I always have an extra. I'm so generous. I might throw in a bonus, but for sure, I have 8, 9, and 10 for you. So there are 3 more left. I'll see you tomorrow and the next day and the next day.